Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your Minifigure host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. Episode 231. How are we doing today? Hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. That was like I said, a very tough episode to record, but it was one of those things that I was like, you know what? I just have to, I got to do it. It was one of those things I could not just let go. I wanted to share that with you. But today we are joined by a new member to the show, a new individual to discuss different Lego things with. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, everybody. Today we're joined by a special dude, a special. Let's get on to the Ninjago train because it's coming and it's moving very fast. I'm joined today by Brayden from Ninja Whip. Brayden, finally, I have an opportunity to chat with you, share some Ninjago insight from your side because you are one of the go-to for Ninjago. So I'm glad to finally have a chat with you, man.
Hey, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's Ninjago is awesome, and I'm so glad that you invited me here to talk about Ninjago. It's a great theme.
It is probably the greatest thing. Let's just be honest. You know,
definitely.
The Star Wars people would disagree, but hey, whatever. So I asked you to come on and chat. Both you and I have had an opportunity to get our hands on the new Ninjago Garmadon comic book from Skybound Press. And I want to get your thoughts on it. I mean, I already have my thoughts on it, but I'd really like to know what you think and be able to share that with the community, man.
For sure, yeah. Garmadon is really cool because it's a book and it's canon to the story. So, it has that value of like people will want it because of the fact that it's canon to the actual story. And it picks up right after March of the Oni, which is season 10 of Ninjago, and explains where Garmadon has been through these past seasons. And we haven't seen him since we haven't seen him at all as of lately. So to have a story of what Garmadon's up to and where he's going and what his story is right now is really cool. And reading through the first book was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I thought bringing in new characters was really well as establishing old ones as well. I thought it was really cool. I don't know if we're gonna get into spoilers, but it was absolutely fantastic book, and the first book was fantastic. I also really loved the art style as well, and the first page of the book was one of my favorites because of the fact that it had the ninja suits from season 4, and they were accurate to the show.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciated that. That was really cool detail that they kept that show accuracy even within the art was really nice.
Yeah, they did a really good job doing that just the whole way through. I was just kind of blown away, like you said, by the art style. It was one of those things that you really never know what somebody else is going to do with a Lego property. And I think the style that they did it, the action really felt great behind it. The characters that, obviously in this first book aren't super big deal. It revolves around Garmadon, but
right.
I thought there was something about it. I don't know specific art styles and stuff like that because I wasn't a giant comic book reader, but it is definitely there. It is definitely something you just get a different feeling for it. And like you had mentioned, it takes off, after that season 10, and it just kind of, it jumps you right back into it. And you're like, well, we've gotten to this point. If you've been following along in the Ninjago series, you kind of get to jump back in a time capsule and be like, oh, this is what's going on now. It's a really cool idea. I'm blown away. Now, I did tease some spoilers. I did kind of go through it on the past show that I did with it day ago when we got them. And I got to know what, spoilers aside, you don't have to go too in depth if you don't want to, but
yeah,
what was your favorite part of the first book to begin with?
That's a great question. I think my favorite part was the struggle with Garmadon and his like emotions, because we've been seeing that a lot in the season. How whether Garmadon is a good guy or a bad guy, he's kind of struggling within himself to find like who he is and what he's meant for. And so I think it was really cool to see some more elaboration on that in this comic book, especially with certain aspects that happened to Garmadon from the past, and how that has come back into his life to haunt him, and to see that see how he struggles with that emotionally, and all that is just really, really cool in my opinion. So I really love the fact that we're diving more into Garmadon's like emotional state and emotional story. I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it was really neat to see. It defines, like, it just gave a different defining moment to him, in my opinion, because we've seen him. I mean, as well as anybody that is a Ninjago fan, you've seen him kind of as good. You've seen him as a bad guy. He just has a different feeling in this. Like, it's not quite what I expected, and I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, I love the fact that we've gotten so many, like, different versions of Garmadon. The first one in seasons 1 through, I would say, seasons 1 through 2. He was more of just a fun villain. He was a villain, but he still had his heart, and he still cared for his son. Like, at the end of the day, it was hard for him to fight his son, knowing that Lloyd was going to be the Green Ninja. So, and then going into season 3, seeing how he would take on a role as a sensei to the ninja as a team was really, really cool as well. And then now having him back as this cruel overlord type ruler is really, really cool as well, because it's kind of like a zombified version of Garmadon, and he's still trying to find that heart within himself. I think that's really cool to see, especially in this comic book.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you right now and get it out of the way, because
Okay.
I asked the audience this on that episode, and you can elaborate as much or as little as you like.
Okay.
Is Garmadon more of a hero or more of a villain, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think what we've seen right now through the story and what we've seen through the comic book, I think that he's more of a hero. Uh, at the end of the day, I think he still cares for his son, especially at the end of my bad, March of the Oni, when they did the Tornado of Creation. You could see Garmadon looking at the mural, and one of the little Oni, like, little thing tentacles came down and covered up Lloyd, and he was like, oh, I gotta do this for my son and for Ninjago. And so he helped them defeat the Oni. And to see Garmadon take on some things in the comic book as well to save others is really cool. It kind of gives him more of a hero aspect. So I think that was really cool to see. And the fact that he deep down, I think he still cares for his son, and would do anything to protect him.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. I said hero as well. It was kind of one of those things. I elaborated kind of the similar points as you just did with, he really loves his son. He's really not that bad guy. And, I even went as far as saying, like, he wasn't a bad guy until he got bit. And, then
Right.
even then, so he may have been a villain, but he wasn't like the worst villain in any kind of theme or series or whatever. So
Absolutely.
when you said more of a hero, I'm over here fist pumping and non visual bit over here,
Hey.
So let's talk a little bit about the two covers.
Oh yeah.
The two covers obviously are completely different. I've got to admit, when these things came, I've never ordered comic books from a place, and like I said, you and I had an opportunity to get them early, well, semi early.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And they came really nicely packaged and stuff like that.
Sure.
I almost didn't want to open them.
Yeah.
I was like, should I don't know. Let's talk about the covers a little bit, because like I said, there are the two different covers. You have one that has the Great Devourer on the front, and then you have the other one with Garmadon's kind of zoomed in face with his hat kind of covering his eyes. Do you have a favorite between the two of them?
I definitely think that the Devourer one is probably my favorite, because of the fact that, I just think it's really cool to see the Great Devourer there with Garmadon, because that's such a huge staple in his life. The fact that he was bit by the Great Devourer turned him evil. It's funny because there's so many different covers of this comic. There's more than just those two.
Right.
It's so many, but I'm really glad that they actually sent two different covers. I thought that was really awesome. But yeah, I think definitely the Devourer one's probably my favorite, because it's the Devourer is such a huge staple in the history of Ninjago, especially Garmadon's history. So it's really cool to see that represented on this cover for sure.
Yeah, they did a nice service to the community by putting that in there, because like you said, it's a mainstay in how this whole story really came about. So it's a big point. It was definitely my favorite as well. I was just like, I kept staring at it. I was like, man, that snake looks awesome.
Dude, it's so
It
cool. It's
was
so cool.
great looking. And then,
Yeah,
like you had mentioned, the art style was just perfect.
it really
So
is fantastic. It really
yeah,
is
some
fantastic.
really, really cool stuff. So Ninjago, we're rolling into the new season, the
Yeah,
season that everybody has kind of been like dying for. Just cannot wait for this thing to come out.
absolutely.
What are you hoping for?
Man, I am hoping for, we left off with Nia departing the team as she merged herself with the sea, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a really emotional, thing, and that really hit home with me personally. I really love to see that emotional side of Ninjago. So personally, I hope we see some more of those emotions flying, especially with Nia being gone. I hope to see, things going through Kai and Jay as they mourn the loss of their sister, or his sister, Kai's sister, and Jay's girlfriend. I think that's really cool to just have that emotional thing in a kids show like that. And as well as, I just hope there's some cool fight scenes. I love the Wild Brain fight scenes. I think they're done so well.
Yeah, they are.
And just this whole story is gone through. We got a little soft reboot in 2019 with Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu, and personally, in my opinion, I thought they've handled this really well. I think the whole thing is very unique, and I really love like different aspects of every season that they put out. Of course, everything, I mean, of course, it has its flaws in some seasons, but I think ultimately the whole entire lineup that we've had these past few years have been really, really strong. And so for the next season, I'm hoping for, more fights, more emotional drama, and, really cool character designs. Because, I love the minifigures. And I think that the minifigures that are put in the show are really well done as well. They animate it really well. So yeah, I'm really hoping for some more, fights. I think the fight scenes are just fantastic.
Yeah, since Wild Brain has taken over, they've really added a lot in there, in that vein of the fight scenes and stuff like that. But there's, like you had mentioned, the emotion. You really get sucked into those 11 minutes.
Yeah.
You lose track of time, and you're just so invested. And with what happened with Nia, and you're like, oh my god, am I gonna cry? I
Yeah.
might just cry. So it's something that I don't think most people realize. It's not just like a Lego cartoon.
Right.
There's the writing in it is fantastic, and the way they build up characters and really tell their backstory and suck you in.
Yeah.
It is not your typical, if you will, cartoon. It is a drama.
Yeah,
It
for
is
sure.
very much so a drama. It's not a Saturday morning, let's flip it on and laugh, as somebody's getting their head smashed in the door. No, there's much more to it. So I'm
Yeah.
very much looking forward to the new season. It's something I can't wait for. I want to ask you this, and then
Sure.
I've it's somewhat of a tangent, and then I'll get back to it.
Okay.
When the news was announced that it was going to be after this season, it was going to be a reboot.
Hmm.
People took the term reboot, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's not going to be the same. What's going to happen?" And then you see the people on social media that are panicking, and then you see the others that are like, "Look, it's a quote unquote reboot, but it's a soft reboot," as like you had mentioned in 2019, and it's happened in the past before. So it's not it's not like they're going completely away. So with your interactions with people on social media, because you're a little more active than what I am, much more active, what are some things that you came across in talking with people about that, and some of the reactions that you saw?
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Every few years Lego decides to kind of give a little fresh little, reboot, I guess you could say, to Ninjago. And it's on the Lego website actually, where they state that every, like, I think 3 or 4 years they just breathe new life into the Ninjago. So I think that's awesome. I think that's great. It keeps it fresh and it's fun and all that. But some things that I saw was pretty interesting. A lot of people thought that the Ninjago, the new season coming out, is going to be like the end, like it's going to be the end of the show, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a new reboot that's going to like completely change the ninjas' designs, and there was just so much. It was kind of crazy, and of course, you wish that stuff hadn't come out because of the fact that people just they take it and run with it, and they just make up all kinds of different things, and but there were a good few people that were kind of calming everyone else down, like, hey, like this is probably just like Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu. It's probably like a soft reboot, no big deal. But no, it was pretty crazy to see all the people go nuts. But then again, this has happened like since Ninjago's beginning. Like, we've had this forever, and yet they still continue to maintain that canon story. So I mean, I'm not really that worried about it. And regardless, whatever route they want to go with Ninjago, I'm sure it'll be fantastic. They've never really letting us down, or at least me. So, but yeah, I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to see if that rumor is true. I can't wait to see where they go with it.
You mentioned something there. As far as there are so many people, I think, that just get so wrapped up into it and can't see what is really going on. They're like, what? Their emotion just takes hold and it constricts their vision. They're not able to see what is really coming, what is really going on. So, sure. Myself, many others were like, just ease it easy now. Take a breath. It's nothing new. We've seen this before.
Right.
And if it changes and it's completely different, then it's completely different.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be. Tommy Andreasen, who I'm sure you've had discussions with, Tommy has mentioned, him and Tommy Kalmar have mentioned many times, they have endless story plots and things they want to go, things that they've done in season 1 and 2 that they want to take further down the road. So
right.
It's one of those things, even if it does change, it's not going to change drastically. You're still going to have your main characters. You're still going to have your antagonists and protagonists and stuff like that. It's just going to be tweaked here and here and here. Nobody saw Nia going in and turning into, returning to the water. Nobody saw that coming originally. Exactly. And when it happened, I just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Blew my mind. I didn't see it.
Exactly. And that's like a big thing because, like, the sets and the show, they tell two completely different stories, right? I mean, a kid can buy that set and have no idea that Nia is merged with the sea. They can kind of just make it what they want, and the show gives us another rendition of what is being told in the set. So I think that's really cool to see in that aspect. But yeah, like you said, like reboots, little soft reboots like that are nothing really new, and like you said with Tommy and Tommy K, they've got tons of stuff up their sleeves. So I'm sure, through years and years of creating Ninjago stories and concepts, I'm sure they've got some awesome stuff. Regardless whether it's a complete reboot or not, I'm sure it'll be really, really awesome to see because those people will come up with some crazy ideas and they always end up looking really, really cool. So I'm not really that worried about it, to be honest.
No, I'm not either. So now that you mentioned it, I was going to get to it, but you had mentioned it. So Ninjago sets, you've got to have a favorite Ninjago set that has been created from its inception in 2012. I don't know, till now, before the new season sets arrive. You've got to have one. If you have more than one, that's okay. I'm putting you on the spot that people want to know. What does Ninja Whip think is the best set, or your favorite, I should say?
Yeah. Well, personally, through 2011 through, I guess we're in 2022 now, it's been 11 years of Ninjago. It's crazy. But my favorite Ninjago set is from 2018. In the summer of 2018, they released the season 9 Hunted Wave. And one of my favorite sets is actually the Dragon Pit. That set is so amazing because I feel like if I was still, 8 years old, like I was growing up with Ninjago, I would absolutely adore this set because of the fact that it comes with all 4 ninja. You get a handful of bad guys. You get a pretty cool dragon build and an awesome playset build as well. I just feel like that is such a great set. And I feel like, kids are going to love it. And I mean, I'm sure kids did love it. And if I was a kid, I would have absolutely loved that set. And even as an adult, I love that set. I think it's fantastic. But I just feel like 8-year-old me would just absolutely eat that set up and play with it for hours and hours and hours on end. And it's such a fun set, and it's got a lot of heart into it, I can feel. And the dragon head that it's also doubled as a throne is pretty freaking awesome for the main villain of that season, Iron Baron. Well, I guess you could go either way with how he was the main villain, but yeah, that set is so cool, and yeah, I feel like I would have loved that as a kid personally.
It's funny, and I love that set. That was one of my favorite seasons as far as sets, as far as the show.
Sure, it's a great one.
Yeah, it's a great one, and it's funny. You had mentioned about 8-year-old you. I still tell my wife, I still tell everybody, I'm a 38-year-old in an 8-year-old's body. It's just
Absolutely.
or I'm a 38-year-old in an 8-year-old's head, whatever. I still get to that point. I'm like, this is so cool. Let's do this.
Yeah,
Because it just leads you to that. You can't not. It's in front of you. It's some good stuff. So
for sure.
Favorite
Absolutely.
Ninjago set, awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. That one's it's a golden set for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's golden. Yeah, golden. Now you got me thinking about all the golden ninja and stuff like that came out last year. So, favorite season. We've got a bunch of them, and there's a lot to choose from. And I know a lot of people do their tiers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is this is that. What is got to be your favorite, and why? Really?
Yeah. I love to see, like you said, with the tiers, I love to see the fan community like hash out which season is their favorite. I think it's so cool to see the fan community go all at it with that. I love that. But yeah, no, my favorite season probably just because I had a fun experience with it, like with the toys, as well as I love the split thing with the two stories that went together with it. It's probably going to be Sons of Garmadon, because I love the fact that we went from Sons of Garmadon and it carried right into Hunted. Also love the character development, and I love the villain Harumi. I thought she was absolutely fantastic. The way that she, just was that evil girlfriend, I guess you could say, part of Lloyd, and I thought that was great. And I loved her backstory where, she lost her parents to the Great Devourer attack on the city in season 1. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I love how they drew back to that. So I thought it was really fun to get that flashback. I also love the flashbacks throughout the seasons as well, especially with Cole and Zane. I think we had one in Jay with Hunted. Absolutely fantastic season, and I thought it was really well done. I thought the story was fun, and the finale was fantastic. I loved the rain. Like, it was nighttime and it was raining, and Garmadon's taking over the city, and the giant Oni Titan is destroying the city. That is so cool in peak Ninjago, and I absolutely loved it for that reason. And I love the fact that we also got development for the tea lady, Mistake. She wasn't really a big part of Ninjago at the time, and to see her come in and kind of, I guess you can say, kind of take Master Wu's role in a place, because Master Wu was a baby at this time, because the past season, Hands of Time, he got hit with the reversal time blade, which his age went backwards, so he became a baby. And so seeing her kind of take on and help the ninja out in a way of wisdom is really, really cool, especially in Hunted as well. Seeing how she taught and led, she didn't really necessarily lead, Lloyd led, but just how she taught Lloyd about all the stuff that Master Wu would have taught him if he was there. I think that's really, really cool to see, and I just absolutely loved that season. And I love Hunted as well. Those two seasons kind of go together, in my opinion, and they go together really, really well. I thought they were done very good, and yeah, those two are probably my favorite for sure.
Yeah. I'm kind of there with you to a certain degree, and it goes together so well. The other one that I keep coming back to is the season with Asphira. I loved that half of it. Yeah, I loved that half of it. Not so much, the snow side of things, but man, I loved her as a bad guy. That's
interesting, actually. That's really interesting, because a lot of the fan community don't really. I see a lot of people not really liking those two seasons as much. So it's really cool to see that you really like that season, because I thought that season was pretty interesting. I was a bit disappointed with the ice chapter, like you said. I didn't really feel it. I kind of wish that it was more emotional with the final fight with Zane as the Ice Emperor. I kind of wish it was the original 3 ninja taking on Zane rather than just Lloyd. But yeah, I thought Asphyra was fun.
Well, you talk about character development and stuff like that with all throughout the series with this, and the Ice chapter for me, it was one of those things where it was just like each episode, because if I'm not mistaken, that was the first season they did the shorter episodes.
Yes, it had season 11, which was the Fire and Ice chapter, had 11-minute episodes. Yeah.
So you got to that, and I felt like the episodes were just individualized. Like there was not a whole lot of carryover. Like the end of the episode, okay, yes, but it didn't feel like it really tied in well to the next episode. I felt it was too choppy to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't. But Asphyra, hey, dude, yes.
Yeah, Asphyra is a cool villain, not gonna lie. I really I enjoyed her. I thought she was fun. She was interesting. I liked her backstory as well, with the run-in with Wu and Garmina at the time, and the fact that she's part Hypnobrai, which is a snake tribe in Ninjago. I think that's really cool as well. But yeah, I have to agree with you on the Ice chapter. I wasn't huge on the fact that it was kind of choppy. I don't know, some story elements I didn't really like that much. Like Zane being the Ice Emperor, that was kind of cool, but it was kind of weird.
It was kind of forced.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. And the fact that like now we've gotten, hasn't he like regret any of the things that he did? Like he just like killed all of Crag's family. He like froze a bunch of people. I mean, you would think that he would have at least some PTSD of the events that happened or something like that. I mean, it's kind of like he got out of the corruption of the Forbidden Spinjitzu and didn't really feel bad about what he did. I kind of wish that I hope they go back and redo kind of like add on to that, because I think that could be a really cool like way to bring Zane into that I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
Kind of bring him like full circle.
Right, yeah, exactly. I kind of want him to like feel some sort of remorse for what he did as the Ice Emperor.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I thought the villain Vex was kind of weak also, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that one as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got your best. I've got to know, what is your least favorite season of Ninjago?
My least favorite season. My least favorite season probably, and as much as I love the toys and I love the villains in this wave, probably Hands of Time, because I didn't really like the dialogue so much. I thought the story was there. I thought the story elements were definitely there. I just did not like the writing very much in that season. I didn't really like the dialogue, and some points were kind of weird. But I thought like the toys for that wave were awesome. I love the Time Twin minifigures. I also love the ninja suits in that wave as well. I think they're some of the strongest ninja suits we've gotten. The snake villains are kind of old, but it is what it is. At that point, we gotten so many snakes, but to have Vermilion was kind of interesting, and the fact that they were the spawn of the Great Devourer was a neat concept, but in my opinion, I don't know how that really worked, because unless like they found the eggs, like where were the eggs? Like where were they? Like I'm like all into that. Like where were certain things at certain times? But I mean, unless it was like at the bottom of the Ouroboros pit, like that's where the Great Devourer was held at the time, before she busted out. That would have been kind of cool if the eggs were down there and they just found them. But I don't know, it was kind of weird. But yeah, I think actually, now that I come to think about it, I think they were like made from pieces of the Great Devourer or something like that. Because I remember like Crux incubating the eggs. Maybe he created them. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've rewatched that season. But
he took her DNA or something. Who knows? Yeah, I can't remember either. Now I'm running back. I'm running back in my head. I'm like, wait, what
Garmadon completely blew up completely hit the weak spot of the Great Devourer, and she blew up everywhere. So unless like maybe a piece of like DNA went flying towards, because he was hiding in the museum, so maybe he picked it up on his front walkway or whatever. He's like, oh, this would be great for this and this. So I don't know, but not the season was not as far as dialogue goes, not the best, but they definitely had some strong toys, and I thought that the definitely the the premise behind the season was there. I thought it was really cool. Also, I did really like the final episode, though. I will say that I did love the final episode, because I love seeing the young Wu and all the young Garmadon and all the elemental masters. I thought that was really cool to see them fight with Kai and Nia and all that. That was kind of cool. But other than that, yeah, not huge on that season personally.
Yeah, I think that is usually when we talk about tier rankings, that's one of them that is always near the bottom on every tier ranking sheet that I always see. So, it's kind of the same vein. I'm like, well, it could have been really, really good. It just didn't quite live up to what it should have.
Right. I think that season had new writers or different writers come in and try it out, so that could have been a reason why it was. I think
Yeah.
the Hagen step away for a bit because I think Skybound and Hands of Time are written by different people. However, I thought Skybound was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was really well done. I just really, Hands of Time wasn't quite a banger, but you can't always have bangers, so it's okay. No big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brayden, it was a blast having you on.
Thank you so much.
Before we get out of here, I want you to share with us where people can find you, socials. I'm not sure, YouTube, wherever you are. Let us know so people know where to go and find you, follow you, subscribe, smash the like button, wherever. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm at Twitter, ninja_whip. I have an Instagram as well, _ninja_whip_. And then I run the recognized Ninjago community, Masters of Bujitsu. You can find that on YouTube. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. I'm always down to talk about something Ninjago. So, this just made my entire day. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll chat again because Ninjago is coming. It's not going away anytime soon. Absolutely. So there will always be everything to chat about, sets, show, good things, bad things, whatever. So again, Brayden, thanks for coming on, bud. And we'll talk to you again in the future.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Well, there you have it. Another interview, another awesome person to the show. Hope you enjoyed that one. Brayden from Ninja Whip, lots of information. And I hope you enjoyed his story, his Lego journey, because it's different for everybody. And it's one of those things I love sharing, but Brayden's a really good guy. And there's actually, I'm going to tease this. There is something special coming up in the new season of Ninjago. And that's all I'm going to say. But you just stay tuned to his social medias and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully we'll have him back on again and he can share more information with us. But just keep it out there in the back of your brain. And you never know, right? You never know what to expect. So that's going to wrap up this episode. Until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.